Yesterday, we also learned the zero property of multiplication, which is that anything times zero is zero. And we learned the identity property of multiplication. So anything times 1
is the same number
is that same number, right? It doesn't change identity. It stays the same, right? Okay, we're going to apply those concepts to division today. Okay? So I want you to think about a situation where maybe you've been with 4 friends and you needed to divide 4 things equally among those friends. In your notebook right now, write a situation. Does everybody have their math notebooks out? Can we do that real quick?
Yes.
No.
Yes. I'm the only one. If they...
Okay, so write down, open to your next blank page. Write down a situation where you might be with 4 people and need to divide 4 somethings among those people. Write a situation where that might happen. I'm with 4 friends, and we have 4 somethings. What would you have 4 of? Write a situation down real fast. What are you thinking? Got it? Awesome. I have 4 friends and I have 4 somethings.
How do you share it?
How would I share it? Exactly. Write a scenario. Think of it like a word problem. Okay, so what do you think of? Write down. Perfect. Write it. So a situation where you might have 4 people and need to divide 4 somethings among those people. What would be a situation? Have you ever been with 4 friends before and had to share something? What might you share with a friend? Brothers and sisters. Have you ever had to share something before? What kind of stuff do you have to share something? Okay, so what if you all had it? If you had 4 books and 4 friends? Did you write that? Write that into a mathematical situation. Has everybody got one written down? What'd you write? Can you show me? Where's your writing? Yeah, like actually write it down. Can you write it down for me? Write it in words. So 4. What? Okay, 4 people. Okay, so what would your question be?
How many
Love it. Will you share that whenever we come back together here in just a second? Okay, did everybody get something down? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
If we didn't, that's okay. Let's see if we can learn from, as a collective group here. Would you mind sharing yours, please? What we just wrote down?
4 people were sharing 4 pieces of cake. How many pieces did they each get?
Okay. 4 people were sharing how many did each one get? And that each one is important because that means we're dividing equally among each person. Okay? What would my division sentence be for this problem? What would my division sentence be? What's my division sentence? 16 divided by 4 equals 4. Who has another thought? Let's put that one up there. We'll need to talk about that. 16 divided by 4 equals 4. Is she correct?
Yes.
Yeah. But we need to think about, is that what my problem says? Who knows what my division sentence might be? What might my division sentence be? He drew a picture of it. Oh my gosh, is that a smart way to think about word problems?
Yeah.
Drawing pictures to help us understand what it's saying? Absolutely. Okay, what does your picture show?
It shows like 4 people and sticks, and then I drew some apples, and I drew arrows. I drew 1 apple to each person.
Okay, who can tell me what he just said? What did he just say?
He just said
Who can restate what he just said? He had a really great idea. I want to make sure we all hear it. What did he just say? Yeah.
that he had 4 sticks as people, and he had 4 apples I drew, and he had arrows leading, and there was 1 apple per person.
Okay, so he used apples instead of cake. But could we draw the same picture up here for this word problem? Yeah, we all essentially wrote about the same scenario, right? So, person. Ooh, we're a little off today, that's all right. Okay. 4 people. And 4 pieces of cake or 4 apples. So how much would each person get? How much would each person get if I had 4 people and 4 pieces of cake, or 4 apples, or 4 bananas, or 4 basketballs, or 4 books? How much does each person get? 1. So what's the division sentence that goes with this problem?
1 divided by 4 divided by 1 equals 4.
4 divided by 1 equals 4. Is that correct?
No.
Is the division sentence itself correct? If I divide 4 by 1, do I get 4?
Yes.
Is that what this problem says?
No.
What does my problem say? Yes.
4 divided by 4.
4 divided by 4. What's the difference? What would that equal?
1.
So what's the difference between these two problems?
The ones in the 4 and 1 switched places, so then it's 4 divided by 4 equals 1 instead of 4 divided by 1 equals 4.
Okay, who can restate what she just said? Who can restate what she just said? What'd she just say?
He said that the one in the 4 switched places, so instead of 4 divided by 1 equals 4, it is 4 divided by 4 equals 1.
Okay. So why does this one work for this math problem and not this one? They both are true statements. 4 divided by 1 is 4. And 4 divided by 4 is 1. So why does the second one work but not the first one for what our division scenario was? Think about that with me. Yeah.
Because there can only be one answer.
Right. But why does 4 divided by 4 match what our writing says and not 4 divided by 1? Yeah.
Because there's 4 people and you have 4 things. So if you did 4 divided by 4, it would be 1. So that's your answer. How many things will each person get?
Okay, so he says what this is really saying is 4 people, okay, divided by 4 pieces of cake. And so how much should each person get? 1. So this equals the number each person got. Okay, what does this one say then? What does this one say? If I had a division scenario for this one, could I still have 4 people?
Yeah.
Think about this. No. What's 4 divided by 1 mean then, if I were to write a scenario that fit it? What's a scenario that would fit 4 divided by 1?
A scenario that would fit 4 divided by 1 would be if you were giving one person 4 pieces.
Oh. So now he says I have one person who gets 4 pieces of cake. Could that work? Yeah. Okay. Well, let's think, okay, so if we had 4 books, let's play this out in our classroom. Okay, and 4 people, if that was my scenario. Okay, will you 4 come up here? Will you come stand up here and be my 4 people who get my 4 books? Aisha, will you come up? Thanks. Okay, so let's see if we were right. I had 4 people, and I have 4 books. Here's one for you. Here's one for you. Here's one for you. And here's one for you. Did they each get 1 book? Yes. Okay, so now if I take those back, and now I just want 1 person. I know, so sad. Okay, so will you 3 boys sit down? Will you stay up here? Thanks. How does it change if I have 1 person get 4 books? Now she gets all 4. How did my answer change? How did that change?
Because first, it was 4 divided by 4, which each person gets 1, but if you change the math problem to 4 divided by 1, she's going to get all the books, and they don't get any.
Okay, so now that I have less groups, right, I reduce the number of groups. Before I had 4 people I had to divide it among. Now I only have 1, so she's getting more. Okay? Does that make sense? The difference between 4 divided by 4 and 4 divided by 1?
Yeah.
All right. I want you to open up your Envision textbooks. You can sit down now, sweetheart. Thank you. I want you to open your Envision textbooks to page 26 and 27. It should look like this at the top. I'll know that you're ready when your book is open to 26 and 27, and your math notebook is open, and you're ready to take a couple of notes on our work today. I've got some good-looking groups here who are ready to go. Thumbs up. Thumbs up when you're ready. Okay. So what we just talked about was dividing by 1 or what happens when we get 1 for our answer? Okay, so that's an important word. Quotient. Eyes on me. Who knows what quotient is? What does the word quotient mean? What's the word quotient?
Quotient is something that you do, the number that you're dividing.
So close. Not the number I'm dividing. What's my quotient? Yeah. Yeah.
It's the answer to you.
It's the answer. Okay? So, right now we're going to talk about what happens when I divide by 1 and what happens when I get an answer that's 1. Okay? So, if we look up here at our scenario, all right, a sandwich is cut into 8 pieces. How many people can have 1 piece? So essentially, that's asking 8 pieces of the sandwich, of 1 sandwich. And I have 8 people. So what is 8 divided by 1? What is 8 divided by 1? 8. Isn't that the same thing as when I multiply by 1? Yeah, that's what we learned about in that previous lesson. So when I multiply something by 1, a digit by 1, it stays the same. When I divide a digit by 1, it stays the same. That rule applies to multiplication and division, so that can help you remember. Okay? So, thinking about what we learned yesterday with our fact families, what multiplication problem could you relate that to? Remember, if we looked at it backwards, 8 divided by 1 is the same as? Not 1 divided by 8. 8 times 1, right? So that's the related multiplication problem I could use. Or 1 times 8. My commutative property says I can write those either way, and it doesn't change, right? Okay. All right. So do you want to write down in your book, in your in your math notebook, write dividing by 1, just like you see right here. Dividing by 1. Dividing by 1. Dividing by 1. And then write the rule that's down below it. Any number divided by 1 is itself, which is the exact same rule that we have for multiplication. Okay? So go ahead and write the rule down here that you see underneath dividing by 1. Any number divided by 1 is itself. That's helpful. Okay, are you getting this written down, Sadie? Okay, you need to be writing dividing by 1.
Yes.
Here, focus.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's look at the next page. Okay. So on the previous page you should have written dividing by 1 and then what that rule is right here. Okay, so both of those are in your book. Everybody get that?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, how does it change when I get 1 as a quotient? So now instead of dividing by 1, I'm getting 1 as an answer. So that was what we saw. When did we get 1 as an answer when we were dividing up our books? When we did 4 divided by 4, when we had 4 groups and 4 items. Would that be the same for this sandwich? If I had 8 pieces of the sandwich and 8 people, how many would each one get? 1, just like we saw up here, right? So the rule here is that any number divided by 1 is itself.
Do you want us to write that down?
Yep, so now you're going to write your heading. 1 as a quotient. Any number divided by 1 is itself. So would 243 divided by 243 be 1?
Yes.
Yeah. Would 5 divided by 5 be 1?
Yes.
Yeah. Would 37 divided by 37 be 1? Yeah. Okay?
Yes.
So when I have this same dividend and divisor, 1 will be my quotient. 1 will be my answer. Does that make sense? Right. I have the same number of groups as I have items, so I'm just going to put 1 in each group. 1,000,000 divided by 1,000,000 is 1. Absolutely right. Okay?
1,000,000 divided by
Does everybody have this written down? Yes. 1 as a quotient. Friends, I need your attention so we can get through this. Remember what your teacher said? If we get through this, you can read some more of your book. Okay. So 1 as a quotient. Any number divided by itself is 1. Except 0, which we're about to get to. Okay? For these next two, it's a little complicated, so I'm going to need you to pay super close attention. Everybody got down the other?
No.
That 1%. Which is what? How many?
1 is quotient. And then the rule. Okay, let's move on to this next one. We're going to talk about these two together. These are a little bit more complicated, so I need to make sure you're listening, okay? Okay, in 1 we see 0 divided by 8. I'm right here. 0 divided by 8 equals is 0. Over here, we don't have anything. We have 8 divided by 0 equals
0.
No, it doesn't say that. What does the rule say?
You can't divide by 0.
You can divide by 0. So why can I have this one? Why can I have 0 divided by 8, but not 8 divided by 0?
Because 0 is nothing.
But I can have nothing up here. How come it works for one but not the other?
Because 0 doesn't go like into 8. Because it does. If you have 0 objects and 8 friends, they're not going to get anything because you don't have.
Oh my gosh, he just said something so smart. Who can restate what he just, who heard what he just said? He just said something so smart. Who can say what he just said? What did he just say?
I said, if you have 8 friends and there's 0 books, then they would get nothing.
Yeah, but I can still have 8 friends even though I have nothing to give them, right? Yes. So it's possible to have 0 friends. No. 0 is well,
No friends.
It's possible to have 0 items but still have 8 groups.
8 groups.
Okay?
I've got 8 groups of friends.
But, so these are the reverse, then what is this one saying? So this is possible. I can have the groups, but just have nothing to put them in. So what would this one say? What would that one say?
8 items going to nobody.
Yes. So, this one says I have 8 items, but no groups. I can't do that. Okay? I can have 8 markers or 8 books. If I took these 4 books that your teacher has up here and added it to the 4 that I brought, I can have 8 things. But if I have nowhere to take them, can I even do that problem? I have nowhere to put them.
You can't.
No. Okay? So do you understand the difference there of why it's not possible? Even if I have a bunch of stuff, if there's nowhere to take it, I can't divide because that's what division is. Division is making equal groups. And if I don't have any groups, then I can't divide. It's not possible. Okay? Questions about that? All right, so let's write these last two rules down, and then we're going to get to work. Okay? So, dividing 0 by a number. Write that in your notebook. If I divide 0 by a number, what's the rule?
It's going to be 0.
I get 0. Did you get that in your notebook, Aishi? We'll write this one down now. Oh, okay. We need to get these 3 written down. Okay. When we finish this one, dividing by 1, any number divided by 1 is itself. Let's write that right under here on this line. Okay, once you finish this first one, get the last one down as well. Dividing by 0. Not possible. You can't divide by 0. If I have no groups to put it into, I can't divide. Okay? Cannot have 0 groups.
0 plus
Because the action of division is putting things into equal groups. So if I have no group to put it into, I can't divide. Can't happen. And dividing is part of life because dividing is, really, what are we doing? When I handed my book to each of my friends up here, what did I do?
divide.
Well, but what? I was,
You didn't hand it to me.
right, we have to share all the time.
We mostly divide.
Okay, let's look at guided practice. We're just going to do a couple of these. Okay, so we're going to apply each of our rules. Has everybody gotten the 4 rules down?
Yeah.
If you don't have them all down yet, you can do that out in your work.
There's 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh.
Okay.
And then you do.
If you don't have them all down yet, that's okay. You can do that during workshop time or just refer back to your book. Okay, so let's look at number 1. What does number 1 say under guided practice?
9 divided by 5, 9.
Guided practice is the blue heading that says guided practice.
It says,
What's the stars?
Okay, I'll wait till we're all listening.
it says guided practice.
Number 1 under guided practice.
9
What does it say?
9 divided by 9. And 1 through 8 use multiplication facts to help you divide.
Okay, and so what is our first problem asking us to do?
9 divided by
9 divided by 9. Go ahead and write that down on your notebook. What's my answer to that?
1.
1.
The next one.
So this follows the
It's
rule.
just like 9 times 1 equals 9, except you're doing division, so it like
Yeah. So what rule up here does that problem follow? 1 as a quotient. Anytime my numbers that I'm dividing are the same, which are the dividend and the divisor, anytime those 2 numbers are the same, I'll get 1 as my answer. Okay? Let's look at number 2. 5 divided by 1. Just 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then I'm sending you on your way. Okay? Number 2, 5 divided by 1. What's that?
5.
5. Okay? So the example of that is when I had Aisha at the front of the room and gave her all my books, right? I just had one group and I gave them everything I had. Okay? So what rule does that follow if you look back to your visual learning bridge at the top? What did we just do there? Which one of your 4 rules was that one?
Dividing by 1.
Dividing by 1, right? 5 divided by 1 is dividing by 1. I don't have it up here, but you have it in your book. Okay? Number 3. What's number 3 say?
0
divided by